Hello. As we prepare to take the Unit 1 test in class next Thursday, which will be February the 12th, I thought it might be best to review the first attempt at your quizzes and maybe work some of the most missed questions. So this page is available in my notebook. It's under Unit 1. Intro to Functions, and it is the last page in there. So the most missed question were questions like you might see here. So it's really evaluating functions. So some of you got lucky and got an easier question like this, and some of you got more difficult questions like this. So I'm going to work the easy and then the more difficult one so you can see the right way to work it. So let's start with this one. So our function is f of x is equal to 6x squared plus 7. And we're asked to find f of x plus 2. So to do that, we're going to take this function, and wherever there was an x, we're going to replace it with x plus 2. So think of the function as a template, and then I'm going to plug in x plus 2 here. Now, as I was grading your classwork, I did notice that some of you wanted to distribute this 6 and then square. But remember, by the order of operations, we do exponents before we multiply. So we're going to have to square first and then distribute the 6. The second mistake I saw as I was grading classwork is that some of you wrote this, that x plus 2 squared was equal to x squared plus 4. But that is actually not true. Remember that when you are squaring something, you are multiplying it by itself. And these are the types of problems, if you remember in class, I showed you how to either use FOIL or the box method. And both of these methods are just two different ways to keep track of the 4 multiplications that you should be doing. So if I use the box method for this one, what I'm going to do is create a 2 by 2 box because we're multiplying a binomial or an expression with 2 terms times an expression with 2 terms. So I'm going to put the first x plus 2, that first expression, across the top, and then the second expression down the side. And if either one of these were negative, then you would have to put the negative with it. So now when I multiply, I'm going to do x times x for this first box. That would be x squared. And if you were using FOIL, that would be first times first. Then you can do x times 2, which is 2x. That would be outside times outside if you were using FOIL. And then again here we have x times 2, which would be inside times inside if you're using FOIL. And then finally, last times last would be 2 times 2, which would give us 4. And a lot of times with the box method, the numbers or the terms on the diagonal are like terms which you can combine. Not all the time, but most of the time. So this gives us then x squared. 2x plus 2x would be 4x, and then plus 4. So this is the correct answer for when you square x plus 2, not x squared plus 4. As you can see, this leaves out that middle term. Okay, back to the problem. So now that I have squared x plus 2, I'm going to write my answer here. So that was x squared plus 4x plus 4. But then I can't forget I also had a plus 7 here that I haven't done anything with. So now, if you remember from the order of operations, I'm just going to box this off for a minute. The next step would be to distribute the 6, but only to the terms inside the parentheses, not to the 7. So that's going to be 6x squared plus 24x plus 24, and then plus 7. And then our final step is to go ahead and combine like terms here. So 6x squared plus 24x plus 31 would be your final answer. All right, moving on to the more complicated problem. What makes this complicated is a lot of different things. One is we have a negative term outside here. So that can be, there's an opportunity to make mistakes here. And another is we're replacing x plus 5 in 2 places, not just one. And it's the denominator of a fraction. But don't let that psych you out. So you still handle it the same way. So f of x plus 5 means I'm going to take my function and I'm going to rewrite everything. But wherever there was an x, I'm going to enter parentheses. Because wherever there was an x, I'm now going to replace with x plus 5. So that's going to go here and here. All right, so the next step would be my exponent here. So we're not going to distribute -3. We're going to square this. So that's going to give us 7. So we're not doing anything with that, so we're going to rewrite it. -3, we're not doing anything with that. And I'm going to wait and distribute this on the next step. You could do it now, but I'm just going to try to be consistent. All right, so if I'm doing x plus 5 times x plus 5, remember there are 4 multiplications. So I'm going to do FOIL this time. First times first is going to give me x squared. Outside times outside would give me 5x. Inside times inside is another 5x. Let me put this here and then I'll bring it over there in a minute. And then finally, last times last, 5 times 5, which is 25. So now if I can combine like terms, which are these 2 middle terms, that's going to give me x squared plus 10x plus 25. Now let me pause for just a second and say there is a quick way to multiply these. You may be seeing a pattern. When you square a binomial, what you do is square the first term, so that's what gives us x squared. You square the last term, which is what gives you 25, but you can't stop there. So to get your middle term, you can multiply the first and the second term, so that would be x times 5, which is 5x, and then you double it, because inside times inside and outside times outside is going to result in the same thing. So that's why you double it. 5x, another 5x gives you 10x. So you can take that shortcut if you want to. All right, back to the problem. So now I have my numerator as 7. I still haven't done anything, so I'm going to leave that up there. Then I'm going to distribute this -3 to the first set of parentheses, and I'm going to distribute 2 to the second set of parentheses. So I have -3x squared minus 30x minus 75 plus 2x plus 10. So -3x squared minus 30x minus 75 plus 2x plus 10. Now I just combine like terms. So sorry about my dog, y'all. So I still have 7 in the numerator. There is nothing else like that, so I'm going to put -3x squared. I have a -30x and a positive 2x, so that will result in -28x. And then I have negative 75 plus 10, which is minus 65. And you can't do anything else. The bottom does not have, you don't have any common factors here, so you can't factor anything out. And you can't simplify across subtraction. So even though 7 and 28 have the common factor of 7, you cannot reduce because this is subtraction, not multiplication. So this is your final answer.